Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full Rocky Marciano out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front set, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Game time.
Okay, welcome again to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We're coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness in the Adelaide CBD. I'm your host, Speed Karen Weiner, joined as always by my man, Steve Burrows.
Hello, Spee.
Hey, hello, Steve. Very formal. I enjoy your formal...
I've been formal for a while now.
I know, it's almost become the new normal, and now I need you to sort of throw some shit in there again. I think you're using up all your creative energy with your segue, which, mind you, I actually enjoy listening back.
Yeah? You like that stuff?
Yeah, I still hate you, but I like that. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry and Lad. Go to the boys at Region Arcade, get yourself awesome coffee, and listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, Stephen.
Yes, Spee.
The whole hip fiasco
Yes.
is it's taken the world by storm.
It has, yes.
It's divided nations. I feel like we're on the verge of World War III based on the fact that you have too many fucking beta males, pissant, weak pieces of shit that are joining your team. Purely because, and this is what my issue that I'm going to take with you, Steve.
Okay.
Your wording, and this is from a guy who loves to word an argument right in his favour. So I didn't get mad that you did it because it was right in my wheelhouse. But fucking you worded that, you worded up the and even put the answers, the two option answers. The B option, which was the, what is it?
I'm an alpha.
Etiquette, fucking
Yeah.
I'm an alpha. It's like,
Yeah.
you are making it look like it's the most wanky thing ever when it's just the right thing to do. Steve,
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for the way you handled
Appreciate
your
that,
argument,
yeah.
but it's not over.
No, I know. We've got a week for you guys to get on there and vote for us. And at the moment, I think I've got the lead.
Yeah, just.
It's because the lead is because dads understand this. You know, there's obviously a lot of burned dads out there who was in there going, "Oh yeah, that motherfucker did it at Johnny's birthday."
Yeah.
So that's why it's all about. That's why they're voting for us.
I feel Josh Boy Chopper has put up the best quote for it.
Dude, man, that was hilarious.
Taking
man.
the hip hip is the new cuckold.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think I think last time I saw was about 65-35, which is about right.
It's time to swing it back.
Yeah.
You know, us alphas have got more important things to do than vote on
Yeah,
things on
that's right.
Facebook.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys are just looking for things to complain.
We're looking at lawn and stuff on Facebook, and hey,
You guys, and they're looking to comment on things, social issues
Yes.
that the Channel 7 News posts. You're one of those guys, aren't you? You're in the comments.
I do want to say though, there's my boy Rassley, who I would expect to have my back in this.
Yeah.
Okay, but this whole, he called me out basically,
Yeah.
didn't he? So if I can't even handle a lighter,
Yeah.
then maybe I can't handle the hip hip. And I'm taking exception to that. I'm
Yeah.
not down with that.
Yeah.
So
So you're saying you got hurt feelings?
no.
So you're going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, bruised feelings.
But I just wanted to say that because, it kind of reminded me of, like we said, Uncle Gus
Yes.
from the Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Yeah.
The guy comes out. That's what, when he wrote that, I was actually looking for the video.
Yeah,
And then when I watched the video back, I was like, oh, yeah, it wasn't as funny as I remember it. But yeah, I thought of that Uncle Gus, and that's you. The jerk who comes in and goes, all right, get off the barbecue. I've got this. Yeah. That's a fight. That's a fight. And that's why I put you in there. You're that guy who comes along with, Aunt, what's Auntie's name? The one who falls down the fucking stairs. Boo Boo. For fuck's sake.
All I can remember is Lily and the bitches falling down the steps.
Yeah. Oh, God, help me, please. God, I'm only halfway. Yeah, so anyway, that's what made me think of that. So Rassley in Kiss My Ass at your kid's birthday, he's kicking off the hip hip.
Probably not you because you're too busy making eye contact with everyone around the room, Steve.
A couple of your mates said that. Was it Nick who popped in there? Said, you have to give the glance to the dad.
Yeah.
Give him half a second.
Now this is where I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Steve. This is where you're trying to be the nice guy, play the nice guy role. But we did play this, and Satan did perk up her ears about something that you said. It was just like, oh, it's the dad of the house and this and that, and she thinks maybe you're sliding in a bit of toxic masculinity.
Come on, man. That's just rubbish.
Like, she expects that bullshit from me and my alpha male bullshit. But for you to try to take the nice guy side, I think that's what I love about how PC the world's getting. Even when you try to take the nice guy approach, people will still
Come on,
a
man.
reason to have it. Why does it have to be the dad?
It's a team effort, man. The mum was lighting the candle.
Oh, okay, so that's do you like traditional roles of the patriarchy, do you, Steve?
Well, apparently, Rasley would suggest that that's not a female role. It's apparently, well, Rasley says all the dudes.
Oh, it's not
thing,
just.
though, but-
We're not talking about wrestling here, Steve. We're talking about you, Steve, in your toxic masculinity.
all
So far, racism, toxic masculinity, and a horrendous drug problem, Steve. We need to have an intervention and sort your life out.
What's the next subject here, man? Let's move on, man. Let's move on. What do you got?
Well, moving
what else
on.
you got?
2 things.
Okay.
One, we need to organise the date.
Four.
A big group, don't be blasé mandate to go see Creed 2.
Oh, okay, of
It's out in
course.
the
Yeah.
cinemas now, so we need to
Is
go.
it now or next
yeah,
week?
no, now. As in, it came out
Oh,
today. Yeah, so
sure.
this will come out Wednesday. So by the time this is on in the interwebs,
Yep.
it will be out.
Right.
And I will probably have already seen it and probably cried, but I do want to see it again.
So you'll rewatch it.
I'll rewatch it 100 times.
Okay,
Like
then.
I loved the first one.
Yep.
And I've watched the trailer about 10 times, and I get goosebumps and get tears well up on my eyes every time I watch the trailer. Yes, I'm emotional. Fucking leave me alone. I'll fight you. But,
Quite the alpha male, yeah. Rocky.
you have to prove that you're alpha male, then you're not the alpha male, all right? I'm happy with who I am. But it just looks great. So we need to organise. If you guys are down, send us a message. We'll put up a thing on the Facebook. But yeah, put your click attending if you are keen. Hopefully you are all in Adelaide.
I have feelings it's going to be me and you.
Yeah.
And you'll cancel last minute.
Yeah. We're going to do some hip-hipping.
Yeah.
But no, so we're going to organise that. But otherwise, Steve,
Yeah.
Survivor Series.
Yes.
Now, it's a week and a half ago.
Yep.
As this comes to air.
Yep.
But we've done our teams. We've done our action movie team.
Yep.
Which universally, I think everyone agreed on one hands down. We had our superhero team once again. Pretty much one hands
So
down.
I'm thinking it's about 1-1 at this stage.
Which one did you think
think-
you won? Which
Well, the
one,
fact is,
Steve?
my action hero had about 7 players, if you can remember. So I think I'll win that one. So I think it's 1-1. I think it was closely contested.
With your 7. My boys are still smoking.
I understand.
Boys and girl, because I
Oh.
chose a girl because I don't have toxic
So
masculinity.
of course.
But, and I even had an Asian in my team. You had nothing. Just all white men. Just Stephen Burrows. You're a shocker, mate. You are the alt-right of this show. But, yeah, so we're going to do our Survivor Series team as God intended it, or whoever
Yes.
you pray to.
Yep.
Wrestlers.
Resolve.
Now, because we've just had Survivor Series, and did you watch Survivor Series?
No, I did not watch
I
it.
knew you didn't watch Survivor Series because I got a text message from Steve. Wrestling hasn't been good since 1998. Now, Steve, I would argue there's been a lot of great matches since then, but I know what you're going for. But
Can't list any though, can you?
at least 100. WrestleMania 19 alone was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. 2003. That was the one with Brock Kurt, Shawn and Jericho, Rock Austin. Any of the Rock Austin matches happened after 98. So there you go. And Rock is just fantastic.
Yeah.
But there, so Survivor Series was very, very good.
Right.
Now, I say that to say this, I only watched 3 matches.
Okay, yeah.
I watched Buddy Murphy, who was Matt Silver, who I used to wrestle with here.
Yep.
Great match. It's cruiserweight, so it's a bit, high fly, this and that. But the fact is that 205 Live category they got, let's be honest, it's not treated as well as the guys on Raw and SmackDown. So it's sort of like it's the C show.
Sure.
It's probably even like the D show behind NXT. But it's got its own little following and it's doing quite well. And Matt's doing very well too. Buddy's doing quite well. Now, the match starts to silence because the crowd just doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
What makes this match great is those 2 boys, it's him and that Mustafa Ali. By the end of the show, by the end of the match, they've won the whole crowd over. Like the crowd is into their falsies towards the end and they really get behind the finish. And the last 5 minutes, like it's maybe a 10-minute match. First half, it's pretty quiet, and you can feel the crowd build, and they really dragged everyone in, which was that's all I care about.
Yeah,
I don't care wins, losses, who cares?
Yep.
I go on the crowd emotion.
Yep.
And the crowd actually starts to get behind it. It's almost like there's ones, you're watching a game with mates and that sort of stuff. Like say you're at the baseball or whatever, you're just having a few drinks, and all of a sudden you're watching the cricket on TV. And you're starting to get, hang on, it's getting close. And you start to get into it.
Okay.
And you can feel the crowd doing that. You can even see them in the background. They're sort of like, they're watching, paying attention now, having a chat. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, hang on, these guys are killing it.
Yep.
And that does really, really well.
Cool.
I watched Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair.
Which is actually a match I've been looking forward to seeing.
That was the match I thought they were saving for WrestleMania.
That's why I thought I had 6 months.
Yeah, but they sped that up because of the emergence of Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Now, Becky Lynch is the female Conor McGregor.
Oh, she's
the
Irish.
Irish girl,
Yeah,
and she's got the attitude, and she didn't participate in Survivor Series because that Nia Jax, that big chick that's related to The Rock, is probably the reason why she has a job.
she's huge, yep.
Yep. She accidentally punched her in the face, like swallowed her face, got a concussion, wasn't allowed to compete.
Right.
They take head injuries seriously.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Which is good. But yeah, she had the bloody nose, and she's got the attitude and this and that. And I just went, they're saving that for Mania now. That's going to be the Mania match. Ronda and Becky, they've been going back and forth on Twitter. It's been great. Even like she put up a thing the other day. Someone said, "Oh, she's just like Conor McGregor." And she said, "Oh yeah, it's just that Irish heritage." She goes, "But if he was within arm's reach of me, he knows I would break his arm and tap him out in 5 seconds." And he goes, "But then we'll go have some proper 12 afterwards." And then he put out a tweet the other day saying, "Yep, anytime you need some real backup, you give me a call."
Oh, cool.
So
that's cool.
yeah, she's got that attitude, and the crowd's behind her.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Ronda and Charlotte actually had one of the better matches. You know how excited I got about Charlotte and Asuka from WrestleMania?
Right, WrestleMania, that's right.
This was just as good.
Okay.
And it was even more impressive because Ronda has only been wrestling for about, 8 months. And to see how well she performs. I mean, there's still a few things where she's a bit sloppy here and there, but for 8 months, she's incredible.
Sure.
And the match is really, really good. It's one of those ones it's just it's a knockdown, drag out sort of fight, like one of those great sort of wrestling matches.
Yep.
Like they're back and forth, this and that, a fair bit of brutality. It's got a bit of a sort of hot shot finish and that sort of thing, so it sort of leads so it can go elsewhere. Now, the crowd is against Ronda for most of the match. Even though it's in LA and she's a California girl, it's just the fact that, it's that whole thing of she's the face and people don't like to cheer the hero.
Sure.
They do the same thing to Cena, the same thing to Roman.
Yep.
And because they all start cheering for Becky. They start chanting Becky during the match because she wasn't allowed. It's almost like she's that Stone Cold role. She wasn't allowed to compete, so we want what we can't have.
Sure.
And she's the anti-hero.
Yep.
And she's fucking awesome to watch. And between those three girls, that is some of the best wrestling. Like, even the highlight package before the match, it's like, I need you to watch it, Steve.
Okay, I'm keen to watch it.
It brings back those emotions of like, fuck, this is good wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the same as you, Steve. I get a bit funny about the whole everyone chicken kicks and hit each other in the head 100 times and no one falls down, no one sells anything.
Yep.
And I do lose wrestling sometimes. But this reminded me of good old school wrestling.
Cool.
These girls are fucking A grade.
Yep.
If they put Becky and Ronda as the main event at WrestleMania, they'd have my money. Like, it was that good.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to watching it, yeah.
And the main event was Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan. Now, this goes absolutely perfectly, as you'd expect it to go. I think Daniel Bryan's done a bit of a heel turn on TV to win the belt off AJ. But then it's sort of not title versus title, it's champion versus champion. I don't think either belt was on the line for it. But it's just everything you'd expect from a Brock. I love Brock Lesnar. Like, everyone gets bored. Oh, he's boring, he's slow. It's like, that's his gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. He is a legit fighter. He's a legit bad guy. He's a legit big guy. If you step into a fight with him, it's 100% correct that he's just going to throw you around fucking until he gets tired.
Yeah.
You know, and this follows the great formula, and then it has that that moment where it changes, and then Daniel Bryan's on it, and then it just goes from there. It's like that. You watch a movie like you've just seen Dust to Dawn.
Yeah, sure. I know
There's that scene where she does the dance, and then all of a
sudden...
sudden...
Selma Hayek you're talking about? Oh, yes, I know Selma
My VHS of that one was very blurry around that spot. But actually, that should be a topic. What was the better dance? Selma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn or Jamie Lee Curtis from True Lies?
Come on!
Which one, Steve?
Selma Hayek, one more.
Are you serious?
Well, Jamie Lee Curtis does that real awkward kind at the start. Remember, she does the...
Yeah, that kind of makes it sexier. I think, actually, just a segue. Throwing your sisters...
This is a segue!
That's going to be the next poll on the thing. Because I think we might get a few...
Yeah?
I've heard... is it... They call it MILF, is a big category on some of the internet porn.
Yep.
I've heard that. I've heard what it's called.
And dudes in taxis.
Yeah.
That's what...
Allegedly, that's a big category. So I think if we put that out to the, some of the listener, they might, I think that should be our next poll.
Okay.
But back to the rest.
Just
to say back
way.
The match, like there's a spot like in that movie where it just changes and then it's on.
Oh, yes.
And that's when the match goes. And then he was watching it watched it myself, and then I watched it back, and I love watching it with people that aren't like us.
Okay.
I mean, I watched it with little Jared, like Big Jared from
Yep.
from that trains here, works
Yep.
here. He's been on the show for 3.5 seconds.
That's right.
And Holly, the other trainer that works here.
Yep.
And they sort of like casual wrestling fans, that sort of stuff. Although Jared is training to be a wrestler.
That's cool.
Pretty
Good on him.
And I love watching it with people that sort of don't know, obviously, as much as we know.
Right.
And so watching I watched it, and then I watched it again with them, and I love watching their reactions.
So was that good, was it?
It was good.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it was
that's
and
cool.
like I said, it's been a while since I've actually watched a WWE pay-per-view and actually cared about what happened on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to watch those 3 matches, and I kind of skipped over the rest of it, and little bits that I caught in between. I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm glad I didn't watch it. But those 3 were classics, and you should definitely get involved.
I can't wait to get involved. And I saw something on Facebook. I had to quickly shut it down because I didn't want to see what happened.
Yep.
I think a little bit gave it away. I think it was Ronda bleeding at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's when I went, oh shit, forgot all about it. I've got to watch it. But my question is,
That happens during the match. That's like a cut lip.
right,
Yeah, so
okay.
it's not like a serious thing.
Okay, so my question too is, was there actually any traditional Survivor Series matches?
Yes, but I didn't care to watch them.
Okay,
Because
okay.
it was
That-
just, they did like the Raw versus SmackDown, and they were
Yeah.
all wearing t-shirts. So it was like
Oh.
all guys in red t-shirts, all guys in blue t-shirts, and I was just like, that part of the Survivor Series matches is gone.
Yeah.
You know, where it used to be the whole, it was like the Heenan family versus this and that.
Sure,
and they
sure.
don't have those sort of gimmicks anymore where they
Yeah.
put 5 guys together as one, and so that I somewhat lacking. And like I said, I'm not big on up to date on the TV, so I don't know.
Yep.
But it didn't feel like it had any of that, like from back in our day.
Yes.
But to say that, Steve, thinking of it back in our day, we're going to now do our final because apparently it's 1-1.
This has gone down the wire.
This might be the first clean sweep in the history of this show, Steve. So you need to focus.
no.
You need to dig deep. I'm even going to give you the first pick.
Oh, I appreciate
Okay,
that.
so we're going to do our Survivor Series team. This is
Yeah.
a very wrestling show today, guys. It's all wrestling today.
Yeah.
Very, very sorry. I'm not actually sorry. Nick, I know Nick's loving it.
Okay,
But yeah,
sweet,
and
yep.
so's John.
Yep.
But we're going to do our Survivor Series team, all wrestlers,
All wrestlers.
all time.
Uh,
And you can't add yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm going to back to the drawing board. Now, just a quick one. Can you choose different characters played by the same person? So, for example,
Yes.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake played
Yeah.
about 8 different people.
Yeah.
Can you pick?
Now, if you're putting Brutus
No,
in any
no.
incarnation,
It's
you've already lost.
It's just an example. Like, it was obviously Brutus.
He was the booty man.
It was a bit. It's the disciple at one point in the
He was,
NWO.
wasn't he like the man without a name or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, there's a reason why he's not around at the moment. But yeah, so can you do that, or is it just the?
I'm thinking, are you wanting to do Hulk Hogan and then Hollywood Hogan?
I was curious, man. That's what I
Yeah,
was
no,
like.
it's same guy.
Okay, same guy. Okay, so my first pick is
Oh,
Hulk
drum roll,
Hogan.
please. Hang on, Jake, Steve. Let's get excited.
Hulk Hogan,
Oh,
brother.
Jesus.
Number 1 pick. I mean, come on. Is it going to be your number 1 pick? Was he going to be your number 1 pick?
They wasn't
Please
gonna
tell
make-
me. Please
wasn't
tell
gonna
me
make
what.
the top 5.
Oh, give me a break.
No, I'm not a Hogan guy.
Come on, man.
Not a Hogan guy.
Rubbish.
I like it, I
Since
like it.
when?
Since always, mate.
Come on. Hogan is everyone's guy. Hogan is especially our age guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because I'm going my guy.
I know who you want to go.
Who's the movement here?
Flair.
Dead straight. Woo! Ric Flair, number 1. The Nature Boy. And he suits it. He can just suit the team. See, I'm thinking strategy. You know how you try to play strategy with your fucking choosing your archaeologist doing fucking knife fight?
Do you see them guns in that photo I posted, man?
Yeah, you really got to love it. But I'm just talking about, like, he's sneaky. He's a good team. And he just always wins. You know? Like, even when
And he also loses 16
Yeah.
titles as well.
That doesn't matter, man. Still got the records. 16-time world champion. Ric Flair, number 1 for me. Number 2, Steve. This is where it's going to get interesting because we knew
Okay.
everyone knew I wanted to.
Yes.
It was pretty obvious.
All right.
Who have you got?
My second person is... all right, so... Usually I would pick all big guys.
Yeah.
I usually would. Because that's,
You like a big-
that's the big
yeah.
guys. But there is one guy who does buck the trend
Yeah.
with me, and it is the showstopper.
Hey!
Shawn
I didn't
Michaels,
think
the
you-
Heartbreak Kid.
See, I thought you were from the Cole Devani school of Shawn McMichaels is no good. That's right, yes, our wrestling trainer used to
No.
call him Shawn McMichaels.
Yes, yes, he
It's the
did.
greatest thing in the world. But you're going Sean.
I am going Sean.
That I didn't expect that from you.
Yeah, so you wouldn't. I throw a couple curveballs once in a while.
And I'm very impressed with your pick.
Yes, so...
Now, right now I'm thinking your team might be better than mine.
Well, I might win 2-1.
There you
How
go.
about that, guys?
I think you win the third round, but you
I'm in the dead rubber.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
this
is
like
Davis Cup.
This is State of Origin. Yeah, this is the game they played back in Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's good. I like your pick.
Okay, thank you.
You've gone with a very good. He's versatile.
Yes, he is.
So I'm going to go number 2.
Yes.
The greatest wrestler. Well, sorry, probably the most influential. Probably the icon, greatest sort of character in the history of wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay, there we go.
The biggest star, maybe, in the history of wrestling.
For about 12 months, that's right.
That's right.
He did have a little flash in the pan, one might call.
Yeah, you call him Ultimate Warrior.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Come on, mate. Steve's a gun.
Okay, no, Steve is
Long
good.
body of work. Steve's
Yes.
great. Love Steve.
Yep.
Character, everything. Steve's number 2.
All right, that's fantastic. Number 3,
Yep.
actually, I'm going... there might be a bit of a theme to my team.
Yeah.
Theme to my team.
Yeah, your rap career's not taking off. You can't go back onto those websites you used to be on doing your battle raps with that.
My guy actually is... actually, you know what? I'm surprised. I think I might be stealing it from your team again.
Yep.
Yeah? And that is, he had 2 characters. Well,
Yeah.
2 proper killer characters. And that's Razor Ramon,
Oh,
Scott
God.
Hall.
There you go.
He is in my team. And some might say, or as Kevin Nash would say, he is the best big man of all time.
Yeah.
Because... dude's about 6'5", 6'6", or he's built at 6'7",
Yeah.
probably legit 6'4", 6'5", 130 kilos, and he was doing ladder matches. No one else could do that
He's
stuff.
the only guy I remember could work. Like if he was in a heavyweight title match, it's believable. If he was in with a little guy, it was believable. Like he didn't have to. He sort of made himself the size of whoever he's working.
Yeah.
And I do love Scott Hall. He was very, very good. So that's a very good choice.
Thank you.
And you may have pinched one from my team. I'll give you
Okay,
that.
there we go.
But the third one is going to be one I thought you were actually going to go with.
Yeah.
Pinch, who actually is the biggest megastar of all time, and going with The Rock.
Yes, of course, The Rock. See, now this is going to be interesting because I think when we put it up on for a vote,
Yeah.
I think people of our age would see Hulk Hogan. Actually, they'll probably know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But the younger people will see The Rock.
Yeah.
And I think you might win if it comes to public opinion, unlike our other one where I'm currently smashing you.
Yeah.
You might win this one just based on The Rock alone.
That's all right.
Should he be allowed to be in this?
Yes, he's a wrestler.
Okay, yeah, he's a fucking hell. All right, so here's my number 4. Now, number 4 is my favourite wrestler of all time behind Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Okay, and I knew of him, but I wasn't into wrestling at that time. But then he was part of the reason I got back into wrestling, and that's Big Sexy, the Giant Killer.
There you go.
Kevin Nash.
I like that.
He is my favourite wrestler, other than Hulk Hogan. He's a guy that when 1997, the wife of Blas, turned on TNT, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why is Hulk Hogan wearing black? And Diesel, what the hell was he doing? And that's what really got me back into it. And his run in WCW alone cemented his legacy for me.
Are you going to go Triple H next?
No,
You've got the
I
whole
don't
clip
know.
Going?
I don't rate Triple H.
You don't rate Triple H?
I never have.
Yeah.
No, I feel like he's like a B grade superstar. No, that's not fair. He's an A grade superstar, but he's not an A triple plus superstar.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he is.
Oh, for sure he
And I think
thinks
he puts himself in that category, but he's not on the what's it called? The with the faces,
tier.
the 4 faces.
Oh, Mount Rushmore.
He's certainly not on the Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
and he's nowhere near. He probably wouldn't even have his own monument in Washington.
It's going to make it really awkward if I choose him next to that. I'm not choosing him. Don't worry about that. No, but because it just brings up have you ever seen that Wrestling Isn't Wrestling video? It's like a little 20-minute short film some guy made, and he explains how wrestling isn't wrestling. Wrestling is essentially a show about a wrestling.
Sure.
Yeah, about
Okay,
a
makes
wrestling
sense,
league,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So that's why things like, because he explains, he goes, if you follow one character's arc through the years, he goes, you can see great storytelling. And he tells it all through the eyes of Triple H.
Okay.
Now, he gets girls to play the guy wrestlers and guys to play the girl wrestlers. So it's just all sort of comedic little sketches to show the progression of the career and stuff. It's really quite interesting.
Actually, I think I may have seen
Yeah,
this.
but he just says, he goes, Triple H, even at his best, is never one of the A+.
Yeah.
He's just never... He's just a B+ guy.
Yeah.
He's as good as, but never will be with the great ones, but he's better than the rest of them.
That's right.
He's that right just underneath those top guys.
Yeah.
But yeah. enough on Triple H because no one's picking him.
Yeah, that's right. Get off our podcast.
Now I'm torn here because I don't know where to go.
You've got some bangers in your team so far.
I've got some bangers in my team so far, but I don't want to just go the obvious favourites.
Yeah,
I want to go guys that are interesting and like you've taken a couple of.
That must hurt saying that shit.
You picked my scumbag Scott Hall. You know he's in the Scumbag Hall of Fame. And Shawn Michaels was in the Scumbag Hall of Fame for a long time.
Yeah.
So you've taken two of my guys straight out of my wheelhouse. So I'm torn. Like, I don't want to go another obvious one. But there's a guy that I've always enjoyed watching.
Okay.
And it's a guy that you love too. And I loved every incarnation of him.
Okay.
Like from when he was younger, I liked that one. And to the newer stuff,
Yep.
I enjoyed that one. But Sting.
Oh, yes.
See, now I thought you were going to go with Sting because you're a big WCW guy.
Yes.
And so I thought but I'm going with the Stinger.
That's a great pick. That's a really good pick. And the thing is, what's making me think about my fifth person is, are we talking about wins or are we talking about just?
No, because I think with this one here, like I don't want to. Like I feel like I've chosen guys for what people think is popularity.
Yep.
But Flair's just my favorite.
Yep.
You know, and like Flair's always been my favorite. So
Yeah.
I loved Austin. Yeah, like not so much like when they were on top. You know, like my favorite incarnation of The Rock was when he was a heel when he first started. Like I'm talking like Nation.
Yeah, that was so
when
good.
I
That was
first
good
came
time.
back into wrestling, and that was like he was my guy when I first came in. So like when he became super popular and he was the babyface, I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah.
But then I kind of went like when he turned back, I was like, I liked him when he first started. So that's why like. You say, I'll win the popularity contest because everyone loves The Rock now. But it's like, well, no, we didn't choose him in the action movie. But
Yeah.
I like the original OG, so that's my issue there. But yeah, Sting was just a guy I like. I thought you were going to take him.
Sting is
and
good.
I was going to take Scott Hall, but you took him from me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the fifth spot, and this is really hard actually, and I'm actually having a real hard time deciding who is going to be in this fifth spot.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, and I feel like whoever I pick, I'm probably going to regret after I say it. But the fifth guy I'm going to pick, and a lot of people may not have seen him wrestle because he's probably just from that just a little bit early. People our age definitely would, but anyone else. And he is the original, probably legend, as far as I'm concerned, and it's Andre the Giant.
There you go.
I'm going to pick Andre the Giant because he is the original. There may have been bigger people or taller.
Well, there was never bigger people, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? There might have been, some guy who's actually legitimately 7'2" or whatever. But whatever he is, what he did, and obviously how they carried him and how they promoted him and the whole package. And if you wanted to build a star, he was your guy. Hulk Hogan based his, his whole fortune is based off pretty much winning that match
Against Andre, yep.
against Andre. So Andre is going to be my fifth guy. So I've got two big giants.
Yep.
I've got Hulkamania, the immortal one, the big star of all time.
You've got possibly, arguably, the greatest in-ring wrestler of all time.
Exactly. And Scott Hall.
Scumbag Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
That's a really tough team.
We'll go with that one.
So
All right.
now I'm torn for my fifth one. This is going to be the last pick.
Yep.
I'm really, really torn because I'm going to probably cut out two of my all-time favourites,
Okay.
which is, like, I was the biggest Bret Hart fan as a kid.
Yep.
I loved him. I had long hair, curly hair, just like Bret Hart. I loved him. And I based a lot of my early wrestling and my love of storytelling through wrestling from watching Bret Hart.
Okay.
So he's just missing the cut.
Okay.
And I love Bret.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking maybe I should have changed Sting for Bret. But
regrets.
regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
Yes.
Roddy.
Oh, yeah.
Roddy Piper, another one. Like I said, not so much. He wasn't the greatest wrestler.
No.
And his best match was probably the only one I really liked of his matches, like genuinely enjoyed his matches, was his match with Bret.
Bret Hart,
at
yeah, WrestleMania.
Now, my favourite quote, and I use it all the time, it's like one of the hashtags I put up, getting t-shirts made with it written on there, but the chew bubblegum kick ass.
Oh, yeah.
That's my quote on every post, every board of every gym I've ever worked at.
Right.
Everyone has like a quote, believe it, you can achieve it. Mine always just says, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum and I'm all about bubblegum. That is my favourite line.
Yeah.
But saying that, I'm going for modern day Andre the Giant. Now, I brought this up the other day on my Twitter and people sort of questioned it, but wrestling needs myths.
Yes.
That's the whole thing that feels like I said, this is the reason why we can never really, this is a popularity contest, and like I said, I may win this on popularity, but I think your team is better. But I'm going to go with the modern day myth, which is Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Oh,
Because that's
very
the whole
good.
thing. People go, oh,
Yeah.
you can't. It's like, but he's like Andre the Giant. There's only so much you can do with a guy that big. And everyone goes, oh, he doesn't wrestle that much. He's a part-timer. It's like, he needs to be. He's a special attraction. You can't have a guy like that just on TV all the time. It doesn't quite work. And it kind of makes him bigger than life. You know, in the same way that Andre was, like, you watch that documentary. It was a great documentary.
Yeah, oh, so good.
And the stories of him are now almost bigger than what, you know, it's almost like the Bible, you know. They're throwing so much mayo on a lot of these stories that it's hard to tell what's truth and what's fiction, but
Sure.
it's a myth, and you
Yeah.
need that. And that's what wrestling's about, because wrestling isn't a real contest. It's the story of this guy being a great fighter against the story of that guy being a great fighter, and they had this over-exaggerated great fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where I think he comes in. Brock is great for that sort of thing, because he's always been that way. I remember the first time I saw him on TV was when he came in the ring against the Hardy Boys, and he went to go powerbomb Matt, and Jeff hits him in the face with a chair, and he just staggers backwards, and they hit him again. He falls out the ring, but he lands on his feet. And it was just like, fucking guy that big shouldn't move that big.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, like, it was like, it made sense that he would get blasted in the face with a chair and just no sell it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, other guys try to do it and try to be tough guys, and then he's like, oh, this is just shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable. But when he did it, it was kind of like, oh, fuck, that, you know, that actually is believable that wouldn't hurt him because he's such a monster.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as much as, like I said, I feel like I've chosen a very popular team and I'm hating myself for it because I always like the underdogs.
Yeah.
Because you pinch my scumbag all the time.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
really fucked this thing.
Sorry, brother. Yeah.
But even though I'm going to win this, I'm not going to be happy about winning this because you've chosen the real wrestling team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give you that, Steve. But there's our fives.
Okay, there we go. So, recap, Hogan, HBK, Hall, Nash, and Giant.
And I've gone with Ric
Flair.
Flair, the 16-time world champion. Go with Stone Cold, go with The Rock, Sting, and Brock Lesnar.
All right, and I'll put up one of those visuals again.
You know what? Might even change one in there.
Oh, okay.
Sting out, Rocky Monero in.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I wonder if that guy, who's that guy who bags me out, man? What was his name on the Facebook?
Greg?
Not Greg. No, not Greg. What? It was one of the guys who said I had a problem. What do I have? A commitment issue or something like
Oh, I
that.
don't know. This.
Someone bagged me out on our Facebook page
Yeah.
about swapping out
Yeah.
whoever he is, man.
Yeah.
It better be.
Oh, Tim. Yeah,
it
Tim had a
Tim?
point. Tim had a good point. You didn't have any courage and conviction.
I know,
I'm giving
actually.
Sting in there. Rocky Monero is a bit too good for this list.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's an elite.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to just get the
He's no
elite.
B plus guy.
No, he's not a B plus.
Nah.
No, he's elite.
Nah.
But that's going to be us for this week, guys. Very wrestling-centric show. I know you guys all love it. There's about 9 people still listening to the end of this one. But that's going to be us for this week. For Speaker, I want to say goodbye. For Steve Burrows,
See you later.
We'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.